This is the City Breakfast Show.
City 97.3. Accra.
Juelaka, 6:30, 97.3 CIti FM. A beautiful medley of praise. Welcoming you to Tuesday, is the 30th of March, 2026. 0303 2026. This is the critical part. So I'm going to use Psalm 37 verses 31, I think it is. It says, the heart of the righteous speaks wisdom, and his tongue talks of justice. The law of his God is in his mouth. The law of his God is in his heart. And therefore none of his steps shall slide. So the mouth, the tongue, the heart, and the steps. The mouth of the righteous speaks wisdom. So we know your righteousness by the way you speak. And his tongue talks of justice. This is because the law of his God is in his heart. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Either make the tree good, so that its fruit will also be good, or make the tree evil, and its fruit will be evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So those who are righteous in heart are known by the words of their tongue. So watch your words. Let them be sparing. Let them be seasoned with salt. Let them be full of wisdom. Let them be words of justice. Let them be words that build and add, not words that destroy. Avoid lies. Avoid exaggeration. Avoid deceit and betrayal. That's the heart of righteousness, the heart of wisdom. And so we agree with Juelaka as he gives God praise. on a great Tuesday morning here on the City Breakfast Show. And so the question is, what chapter are you on in this 2026 story? Whether it's chapter start, chapter continue, or chapter putting off, we at APSA can help you make it a chapter yes. We're supporting you every step of the way with tailored banking and finance solutions like loans, credit cards, digital banking, helping you save, plan ahead, and take control of life's big and small moments. Whatever chapter you're writing this year, let it end with a yes. We're starting off with a newspaper review. And it's Richard the Last Guy and Caleb Kuda joining us shortly. Switch to Fidelity Bank today and enjoy amazing benefits like lower interest rates, higher loan amounts, and personalized financial support. It's time to switch and smile wider with Fidelity Bank. Call 0800 003 355. Visit fidelitybank.gh.com.
Hallelujah, 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 praise the Lord. Jesus, oh God.
All right, so we welcome Richard the Last Guy and Caleb Kuda. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. Good morning.
Are you sure you are ready for the day?
Sure.
Because I'm not sure. Are you sure you are ready?
Over there, dog bafude on your who's out too. Oh yeah. Mama, you see it.
I'm tired of you.
Me, I know your territory. I can't your jurisdiction inside. So I can't. You are the main man for here.
Okay.
You see, as they were talking about eating dogs and this is. Oh, this man. So there's a saying that you can't go to dog cannot go to certain territories and misbehave there.
Right.
Yes.
And how is that related to what you are doing today?
But you are saying that I'm not sure I am ready.
You mean the controller?
You are the controller.
Okay, so you are ready.
Oh, are they ready?
Ready. Okay.
Yeah, but only that the newspapers are not ready.
Yeah. We are ready here.
Okay, very well.
Yawaso East, over 40,000 voters expected to elect a new MP today.
Yeah.
This is citynewsroom.com. Terror threat to America looms over Iran conflict. Professor Nchidan, so he's not happy with the Americans at all. Meanwhile, stranded Ghanaians in UAE say they are living in fear. Ghana evacuates embassy staff in Tehran, Iran, and then Ghana or government lifts DDEP induced restriction on domestic bond issuance. So it means the borrowing can start.
Yeah, man.
But we have to be careful.
Daily Graphic, ratifying African Court Protocol. You have nothing to fear. This is President Mahama assuring African leaders. No plan, no cash bill to tighten fiscal discipline. This is Opon Kumaya. Also goes to polls today. Government can now issue domestic bonds. DDEP induced restriction lapses, as you read earlier.
Let me take you to the Chronicle. The big story says Premix manages enforce financial discipline. Some 545,000 Ghana cedis accounted for in the central region. Comes with a photograph of the beautiful and smiling minister responsible for fisheries, Emilia Arthur. Also on the front page, we have Ebo Mensah, who is the administrator of Premix Fuel Secretariat. We're told that there's something that we need to be looking into regarding how that space is managed. Also, Shell retailer confirmed fuel contamination at Atimpoku, and Tuntokrom youth deny alleged mine pit collapse in the town.
Daily Guide leads with this one. Produce 600 million Ghana city recovery information. This is lawyer to Iyoko. And no mining pit collapse at Mansour Tuntokrom. This is youth. Court throws out Ayawaso East by-election suit. No plan, no cash bill laid before stakeholders. And 3 arrested for lynching man at Lashibi. Final one from me. Consumers... Oh, please, come in.
Okay, go on.
Sorry. So consumers warned to brace for possible fuel price hikes. This is BNFT. And then, of course, Zen Petroleum honors 16 deserving retailers. Government signals return to longer-term borrowing as DDP restrictions expire.
Let me tell you about the Economy Times. The front page says Bahamas Industrial Hub vision gains momentum as agribusiness reforms signal economic renaissance. Also on the front page this morning, Ghana announces sweeping reforms to generate some 127 tons of artisanal gold annually. Gold Board to take over from BOG in financing all artisanal and small-scale gold purchases. Also on the front page this morning, Cocoa Board Deputy CEO appointment. Rebuttal dismisses conflict of interest claims as baseless. Some other news stories.
Let me continue with CItiNewsroom.com. Government releases funds to clear 2025 rent arrears for security services. Also, government to begin enrollment for affordable homes under NHF, the National Housing Fund. If you go to Channel 1 News online.com, the minority leader is talking. He says, minorities upholding JB Danquest's legacy in cocoa price campaign. Meanwhile, evacuate us from UAE, stranded Ghanaians. Ayawaso East, our silence, no sign of defeat. This is MPP. Meanwhile, MPA says fuel prices are likely to rise in March. And then, woman convicted of manslaughter for acid attack on boyfriend. This is a Koforidua story. Meanwhile, 11 foreign nationals in court over tuber counterfeit dollar printing. They are in Ghana. They won't keep quiet too. They are printing fake dollars too.
That even reminds me. You remember that there was this big story about some fake dollars found somewhere. Is there some place be like that?
I think that was last year.
Yeah, last
Some
year.
container.
Yeah, container. What became of that?
Jackpot was there for some.
Yeah, Charlie.
We can go back to it. Meanwhile, there's a very interesting feature on our food and travel segment of Channel 1 News.
Yeah.
Conquering the waters.
Sharp.
A brief journey of a lifetime aboard the mighty Ndeuru Jakpa.
Thank you.
Ndeuru Jakpa.
Thank
Ferry
you.
in Dambai.
Yeah.
There's also the Heritage Caravan Road Diaries, a Royal Anwamu stop in Bimbela.
Anwamu.
I'm going to myjoyonline.com.
Yes.
Build a war chest. You a champion makes case for leveraging gold to boost reserves. Finance Minister announces expiration of DDP induced restrictions on domestic bond issuance. And then I also is by election police vows to deal with troublemakers as it deploys personnel. Sky, the news from abroad is not good.
No, not at all.
Al Jazeera, U.S. Embassy in Riyadh hit. Iran closes Strait of Hormuz. Attacks Gulf energy.
Hey.
Charlie.
Amanti.
So Iran has Charlie, sorry, that's the Al Jazeera headline. I'm giving you different, so you know every angle is different. BBC says Israel launches fresh strikes on Tehran and Beirut as U.S. warns hardest hit on Iran yet to come. All right, and then if you go to Bloomberg, they are saying Saudi Arabia destroys incoming drones as attacks widen. You know, so meanwhile, there's a very interesting article here. Trump's war on Iran has traders staring down an energy crisis. So he's creating a problem that he himself cannot solve. I'll give you a final story on the High Street Journal.
Okay.
Can Ghana turn coconut into a profitable export industry?
Yes,
There's a man drinking coconut as if Charlie is fighting the world.
Godfrey's people.
Yeah,
yes.
he's drinking coconut.
And Bernard, we've received some additional
Other papers,
newspapers. So I have the Ghanaian Times. So let me tell you about just the lead story.
Yeah.
10 die in Ahafo mine pit collapse. Survivors receiving medical attention. If you go to the Daybreak newspaper, the lead story, armed robbers at sea expose gaps in Ghana's coastal security.
Yeah.
Comes with the Minister of Interior's photograph. Also, if you go to the archives, no mining pit collapse at Manso Tuntukrum. Angry youth are clarifying and are demanding an apology. And finally, if you go to the New Republic, Gulf strikes send oil and gas prices soaring.
So the catalyst, President Mahama declares Ghana is back as economic indicators rebound and reform deepens. Ivory Coast reduces cocoa price below Ghana's. NPP attacks on government and cocoa board lose momentum. The National Enquirer, no panic, there is enough fuel in stock. This is NPA assuring, and Tor Tema Oil Refinery positions itself for sustainable aviation fuel production under ICAO GC GCAA initiative. The Inside newspaper this morning, imperialist aggressors at work again. Israel, US bomb Iran in war that cannot be won. And Daybreak says armed robbers at sea expose gaps in Ghana's coastal security. Ashanti, this is a Hawk newspaper. It says that Centio starts clash with BOG data. No import records found.
So, Bernard, you want to go to the Middle East?
Yeah, so
Okay.
there are a couple of stories here. Trump's Iran endgame unclear after mixed messaging on war aims. So 3 days into the U.S. strikes on Iran, President Donald Trump's war aims and vision for the future of the country remain opaque.
Yeah.
This is the BBC. Trump and senior administration officials offered a wide range of views about what they hope to achieve in the largest American military operation in the Middle East in 20 years, and whether or not the U.S. supports regime change in Tehran. The administration initially said its goal was to destroy Iran's nuclear program, but in the hours and days since, the rationale has shifted as Trump used an unconventional messaging strategy of social media posts and brief telephone interviews with reporters to signal his intentions. He laid out some of his objectives on Monday in his first public remarks at the White House since the start of the war. First, they said they would destroy Iran's ballistic missile capabilities and navy and ability to develop nuclear weapons and support proxy groups in the region. He also argued for the broader purpose of the war to protect U.S. and its allies from attacks by Iran. Then there's another one here. 3 days into the war, we still have no idea where this war is heading. This is Jeremy Bowen reporting again. It's already a regional war after Iran's decision to attack Arab states who are U.S. allies, as well as Iran's neighbors across the Gulf. Then the Al Jazeera now is giving us some updates. U.S. embassy in Riyadh has been hit. Tehran has now officially closed the Strait of Hormuz. Israeli forces have continued their assault on Tehran and Beirut. Saudi authorities say 2 drones hit the U.S. embassy in Riyadh, causing limited fire and minor damage. Meanwhile, Democrats say any threat posed by Iran was to Israel, not to the U.S. Mark Warner, a Democratic senator from Virginia and vice chair of the Select Committee on Intelligence, told reporters after a briefing that there was no imminent threat to the U.S. by the Iranians. So they've criticized claims by the Trump administration that strikes on Iran were justified because of the threat posed by Iran. It's a developing story, so we have a lot more on the show.
I want to take you to the New Republic newspaper. Page 5 talks about the price of oil, because that's what many people are talking about. The interplay of geopolitics and global energy security has been thrown into sharp relief this week as a significant escalation in the Gulf region sent Brent crude soaring past $82 a barrel and triggered a nearly 50% spike in natural gas prices. Now the flashpoints are Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and the Strait of Hormuz, once again the theater for a high-stakes military encounter that threatens the lifeline of the global economy. What it means is if things continue, we will be filling it at the pump.
Meanwhile, the MPA says we have enough fuel for at least a month and a half.
Yeah, so no panic. There is enough fuel in stock. The National Petroleum Authority has moved to allay fears of potential fuel shortages, assuring Ghanaians that the country has sufficient petroleum stocks to last several weeks despite escalating tensions in the Middle East following recent attacks involving Iran. Now, speaking on the probe on Joy News on Sunday, NPA's Director of Economic Regulation and Planning, Abbas Ibrahim Tasunti, acknowledged that Ghana, as a net importer of refined petroleum products, will inevitably feel the rippling effect. However, we have enough stock for.
Let me give you 2 quick related stories. We are living in fear. Stranded Ghanaians in UAE. This is on CItiNewsroom.com. Some Ghanaians stranded in the United Arab Emirates have appealed to the government for urgent evacuation after security incidents disrupted operations at airports in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Yesterday, on the Point of View, we spoke to blogger Felix Adomako Mensah, popularly known as Zion Felix. He told Akosia Otri, who's the presidential correspondent on the Point of View, that they were living in fear and urgently needed assistance. Meanwhile, the government has evacuated embassy staff from Tehran. Foreign Minister Okudzeto Ablako has announced the successful evacuation of all Ghanaian embassy staff from Iran amid escalating security concerns in the country.
Meanwhile, let me take you to another security-related matter. Page 3 of the Daybreak newspaper has the lead story, Armed Robbers at Sea. The story says for the second time in recent months, Ghana's coastal waters have been rocked by an armed robbery attack on local fishermen, intensifying concerns over maritime security and the vulnerability of fishing communities. Now, the latest incident occurred on February 25 this year when gunmen attacked a group of fishermen during a night expedition expedition off the coast of Goma, Nyanyano, and Senya Breku in the central region. Now, the assault mirrors a similar operation recorded late last year along the eastern coastline near Denu and Aplau, close to me, raising alarm over what analysts describe as a troubling pattern. Now, basically what the paper is trying to do is to raise the matter seriously and question the emerging gaps, as it would seem, within Ghana's security apparatus.
Ivory Coast reduces cocoa price below Ghana's. Albert Kumsen writes for the Catalyst this morning that in a significant shift in West Africa's cocoa pricing landscape, Cote d'Ivoire has set its mid-crop farm gate price below that of Ghana, altering the narrative in the ongoing political economic debate over farmer remuneration. This development has effectively caused the opposition attacks on the government to lose momentum. Under the new regime for the 2026 mid-crop season, Ivorian cocoa farmers will receive between 800 to 1,000 CFA francs per kilogram of beans, equivalent to approximately 98 Ghana cedis to 1,225 per standard 64 kg bag at prevailing exchange rate. The two countries produce the most cocoa beans for the world. I don't know why the two can't come together and set the prices.
They have to do that.
That's what they have, a joint commission or something.
Yeah, there is that.
We don't know if it's working though.
Okay, let me take you now to a related story. Money. Page 3 of the Daybreak newspaper has the story. Government lifts DDEP-induced restrictions. Now, the Ministry of Finance has announced the expiration of restrictions on new domestic bond issuance, effectively ending a 3-year measure introduced at the height of Ghana's debt crisis in 2023. Now, in a press release dated March 2, 2026, the Ministry of Finance stated that the restriction was initially imposed to prevent the government from issuing new bonds following the debt default that preceded the domestic debt exchange program.
Meanwhile, economist and political risk specialist Dr. Theo Champon says Ghana must seize the moment of historically high gold prices to strengthen its international reserves and protect the economy. Speaking on Joy News on Monday, the technical advisor of the Ministry of Finance said gold continues to trade at record levels, presenting a rare opportunity. He said forecasts from major institutions suggest the favorable trend may persist. For him, the critical question is how shall Ghana respond? So he is asking the government to build a war chest, not the reserves. Now you are building the war chest, not the reserves. It's not a means or an end and of itself. It's a means to an end.
Okay. Now let me contrast two stories related to gold. So if you go to the front page of the Ghanaian Times, there's a story there. 10 die in a Ahafo mine pit collapse. Now you go to the archive, they are saying no mine pit collapse at Manso to Grove. Okay, let me tell you about it.
Is it the same place?
Well, I'll read it and then you get to because it's basically the same name they are mentioning. So Kingsley E. Hope and Daniel Girassa write for the Ghanaian Times that 10 persons have been confirmed dead and 4 others injured after an old mine pit in which they were working caved in at Tutukrum, a village near Kokoase in the Esutefe South District of the Ahafo region. Now, the tragedy occurred on Saturday at about 9 p.m. following heavy rainfall. Now, the victims were said to have been undertaking illegal mining activities in a cocoa farm when the abandoned pit suddenly collapsed. The Ahafo Regional Police Public Relations Officer, Chief Inspector Kojo Boache, who confirmed the incident in a telephone interview with the Ghanaian Times yesterday, said that the deceased had since been buried in accordance with Islamic rites. Now, if you go to page 2 of the archive newspaper, they are saying that no pit collapse at Manso Tutukrum, and angry youth are clarifying and demanding apology. The youth and residents of Manso Tutukrum in the Amansia South District of the Ashanti region. Okay, so what is happening?
So Amansia is different from... there are two different places. Tontokrom is a Sutifi in Ahafo. Tontokrom is in Ashanti. So it's two different stories.
No. Then it means that maybe one has been attributed to the other. Because
why?
It would seem because this one says Tontokrom, a village near Kokwasi.
Where?
In the Esutifi
Amansia
South.
South. So there's Amansia South District in Ashanti and perhaps Esutifi South too.
So the Ghanaian Times is talking about Ahafo.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the archives is talking about what?
Ashanti region. Because the story says the youth and residents of Manso Tuntokrom in the Amansia South District of the Ashanti region have strongly denied reports of a mining pit collapse in their community, describing the claims as false and malicious. Now, according to the group, no such incident occurred in Manso Tuntokrom or in any nearby community.
So Manso Tuntokrom is in Ashanti. Did the Ghanaian Times also talk about the same place?
No, the common name there is Tuntukrum. That's what I'm
So
saying.
maybe the Ghanaian Times reporter is mixing things up because he's saying 10 die in Ahafo.
Yes.
Ahafo is not Amansia South.
No, Bernard, you're not getting the point. What I'm saying is that there may well have been a mining pit collapse, but maybe in reporting it, people have attributed one community to the other. Just that maybe you have
misclassification.
So that's what I'm saying, that the
Attribution.
Ghanaian Times is mentioning Ahafo.
Yes. That's where the thing is
So
happening.
let's keep it there.
And
the
youth
Manso
are-
people say they don't have any pit collapse.
Exactly.
No problem.
We can move on with our life.
Ashanti region emerges Galamsey capital, holds over half of total forest destruction. This is page 6 of the Hawk newspaper. Ashanti region has consolidated, how do you put it this way? Its position as the epicenter of Ghana's illegal mining crisis, accounting for more than half of all forest reserve destruction recorded nationwide, according to a new official data. Basically, we are told that 8,923.8 hectares of forest reserves have already been degraded by illegal mining or miners as of 31st December 2024.
I also East is voting today. City
That's
Newsroom
right.
is reporting that over 40,000 voters to elect a new MP. Fauzu Masaudi reports that more than 40,000 registered voters in Ayabaso East are expected to head to the polls today, Tuesday, March 3, to elect a new MP. The by-election was triggered by the death of constituency's MP Muhammad Nasser Toure, January 2026, leaving the seat vacant. Following the internal primaries, the MPP elected Baba Ali as his candidate, while NDC picked the former High Commissioner to Nigeria, Baba Jamal, to contest the seat. Electoral Commission has assured residents of a smooth and orderly voting process, and City News will be bringing you updates.
I
on
thought
this.
there was supposed to be some court action over the candidate.
It's been thrown out.
It's been thrown out.
yes.
National Ambulance Service
Yeah.
to procure 400 ambulances and 500 medical motorbikes.
Yeah.
So the Ghana National Ambulance Service has revealed that processes are underway to procure 400 new ambulances and 500 medical motorbikes to improve service delivery and response times. According to the service, the ambulances will come in various categories, including pediatric ambulance, basic life support ambulance, advanced life support ambulances, critical care ambulances, and ICU ambulance, among others. The motorbikes will help personnel navigate traffic during emergencies, which they said often hampers their operations, and will also enhance response time and critical interventions.
Okay, let me take you to Premix Field.
Yeah.
Page 3 of the Chronicle has the lead story. And Nana Benin Jojo Emisa writes the landing beach committees and LBCs across the Cape Coast area, Abura, Asebu, Kwamakasi, and Mfantsiman have collectively accounted for some 500,000 Ghana cedis in community development funds following an intensive accountability exercise conducted by the National Premix Field Secretariat. Now, the exercise formed part of government's ongoing reforms to enforce compliance with Legislative Instrument 2233, which requires that 53% of proceeds from Premix Field sales be reserved strictly for community development policies within fishing communities. We've had some concerns over possible misuse of the funds in some communities, and it would seem that great efforts are being made to ensure discipline.
Sharp. Now, road contracts under scrutiny as single source awards surge. This is the Ghana Institution of Engineering. Ghana's road sector is facing mounting scrutiny over procurement practices as the president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Ludwig Annan Hesse, in a speech at the institution's 53rd presidential address in Accra, warned that excessive single source and selective tendering is inflation costing, weakening transparency, and deepening the sector's financial crisis. Instead of the usual open competitive tendering, a standard method under the Public Procurement Act, Engineer Hesse stressed that authorities are increasingly relying on special procurement methods that are meant only for emergencies or specialized projects. So that story is on page number 7 of BNFT. Find out for details.
Okay, Bernard, I want to draw your attention to an alarming story on page 13 of the Ghanaian Times. 328 test positive for elephantiasis.
Huh?
Elephantiasis.
Elephantiasis.
No.
Elephantiasis.
Okay, what's the word?
Elephantiasis. Elephantiasis. Elephant and then
Elephant. Hey, they're always to say English. Elephantiasis. Is that correct?
It's okay.
We heard about this in primary school. Now, why it is concerning for me is that it makes it enlarges your
feet.
Yeah, that's right, and it becomes
how many people are testing
now
positive for it?
328. And that is very serious. The story says out of the 4,954 people screened for
Elephantiasis.
In the Wenchi. They say if you are in the hole, stop digging. Wenchi Municipal of the Bono region, a total of 328 have tested positive for the disease. The Wenchi Municipal Health Directorate has disclosed. I want to know what reforms.
Does the story give you why? Is it where they live? Is it what they drink? There has to be some background. You can't just read that and leave it like.
So it says, according to her, the parasites are transmitted to humans through the bites of infected mosquitoes, which lodge in the system, causing damage and severe swelling. Now, she noted that the treatment being administered includes, it mentions some really plenty, medicines that are being used.
And which, this is Wenchi area?
Yeah, this is the Wenchi.
There's a question here. Can Ghana turn coconut into a profitable industry? It says, with cultivation expanding following the distribution of 3 million elite seedlings and the government's agricultural program, the economic question is no longer about planting capacity. And it says Ghana's coconut sector, this is High Street Journal, stands at an inflection point as policymakers and industry players confront a central challenge: how to move from expanded cultivation to profitable processing, manufacturing, and export operations. Now it says the country currently earns roughly $12 million a year from coconut exports, largely from unprocessed nuts. Yet the global market for coconut-based products, including virgin oil, bottled water, cosmetics, coir fiber, and activated carbon, are worth billions of dollars annually, offering significantly higher margins than raw commodity sales.
Yeah, so I mean, many parts of Ghana do have a lot of coconut trees. What I've also investigated, I mean, during my early years, the problems that they continue to face, the plants getting attacked by all kinds of infections or diseases and pests and all of that. And we need some efforts to contain those, because especially if you go to the western region, the Alembele areas and these other communities.
Let me end with two stories. Conquering the waters, a brief journey of a lifetime aboard the mighty Indewura Jakba ferry. It's a nice article written by Jeffrey Annan, who basically spoke about his experience on the caravan day 2.
Great read.
As the ferry took them through the towns with names that tell their own stories. Nenchukrum, literally cattle town. Tokranu, the entrance of a hole. And Wane, a name that needs no translation if you understand Akan.
Oh, you mean that one?
Yes.
Ansana. Why is that what they do there?
Each community,
Please.
each community sits quietly along the road. Each community sits quietly along the road, but together they lead you to one of the most important crossings in the region. Nambai is commerce-centered. Foodstuffs are transported across the lake daily. Traders, passengers, vehicles all rely on the ferry to move goods and communities and connect them. Without it, movement would slow to a standstill. Then he describes how the ferry came to be known as Indewura Jakba, the Gonja warrior and founder of the Gonja kingdom, and then how the heritage caravan spent the rest of day 2. They also went through Bimbila, and they had an Angwamo festival.
My God.
But they should have done Accra on the ferry.
No, they don't do it with rice. It's with Gary.
He's talking about the ferry.
On the ferry.
While they were on the water.
Pay attention.
But they said that at the they should add
This
more.
is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Oh, jump on now. Go, the go. Ugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shout it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small.
The go.
Joe Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Anjua, challenge these days new level crowd. Where did you pass?
Me, pass somewhere. I just switched for a better life. I switched for comfort. Look, your salary deserves better.
Switch?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
I switched my salary account to Fidelity Bank.
Oh, okay.
And that's my jackpot. I get higher loan amounts with lower interest rates, as well as personalized financial support. They gave me a loan to expand my side hustle, and the terms are just flexible.
Wow.
Your salary deserves better.
Oh, my salary deserves better, Pa. You see the way you are smiling wide? Yes, I will switch and smile wider.
Your salary deserves better. Switch to Fidelity Bank today and enjoy lower interest rate, car and home loan, personalized financial support, and a smile that lasts. Switch and smile wider. Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
If I believe with us, Fidelity. If I know I day aside, Fidelity.
The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
City Business News with Netili Netiajaho. Good morning, Netili.
Good morning, Bernard, and welcome to the breakfast edition of the City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, EcoBank, and Valex. Coming up, National Petroleum Authority tightens fuel price monitoring as global risks rise, and economic watchers optimistic as end of bond restriction signals market stabilization, and much later, businesses risk strike-off as the ORC sets April 30 deadline for annual returns. Let's settle for the details now. The National Petroleum Authority is stepping up monitoring of oil marketing companies and bulk import distribution and export companies to ensure strict adherence to the approved petroleum pricing formula aimed at protecting consumers from unfair pump prices. This comes against the backdrop of escalating tensions in the Middle East, which could push global oil prices higher and translate into fuel price increases in the country. Daniel CIti has more in this report.
Beyond assurances of adequate national fuel stocks estimated at more than 5 weeks for diesel and nearly 7 weeks for petrol, including cargoes currently at anchorage awaiting discharge, the downstream petroleum regulator says it remains committed to ensuring consumers benefit from fair pricing even within Ghana's deregulated fuel market. Speaking in an interview with City Business News, Director of Economic Regulation and Planning at the NPA, Abbas Tasunti, said the authority is closely monitoring market activities to ensure pricing decisions by OMCs and BIDEX reflect approved cost benchmarks and regulatory guidelines. His comments come as Brent crude prices climb above $75 per barrel amid rising geopolitical tensions in the Middle East.
Fair pricing is something that the regulator will do all the time, irrespective of whether there's a war or not. And so we'll continue to do that. As you are aware, the market is deregulated, and so we do not determine or control the external factors like the world market price and exchange rates, which directly or mostly determine the direction of price on the market, domestic market. And so we will continue to monitor the market and ensure that the oil marketing companies, the BIDEX, are all determining their pricing in conformity with the prescribed petroleum pricing formula, so that consumers can get value for money for what they pay for the product.
Analysts caution that sustained price pressures could see crude prices surge beyond $100 per barrel, with significant implications for Ghana, which relies heavily on imported refined petroleum products. Already, some oil marketing companies have begun marginal pump price adjustments.
City Business News' Daniel CIti filed that report. Now, the Registrar of Companies is warning that over thousands of firms could face penalties and possible removal from the company's register if they fail to file their annual returns by April 30 this year. The ORC says the enforcement drive is aimed at improving transparency and strengthening the integrity of Ghana's corporate registry. Here is more.
The directive is in line with Section 126, subsection 1 of the Companies Act 2019, Act 992. In a press statement, the Office of the Registrar of Companies reminds business owners, company directors, secretaries and partners of incorporated partnerships that entities whose financial year ended on December 31 must file their returns with financial statements or renew their business names before the deadline. According to the registrar, companies that fail to file their annual returns will be deemed deemed non-compliant and liable to penalties in addition to filing fees. Firms that have defaulted for 5 years or more face a 2,000 Ghana cedis penalty, while those in arrears between 1 and 4 years will pay 1,000 Ghana cedis. The statement further cautioned that persistent non-compliance attracts daily penalties of 25 penalty units and may result in the company being struck off the register, making it unlawful to operate.
Emmanuel Opong with that Business Desk report. Now, the Ministry of Finance has announced the expiration of restrictions on the issuance of new domestic bonds, effectively reopening the longer-term segment of Ghana's local debt market. According to the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasiela Tuforsen, the 3-year restriction was introduced in 2023 to halt new bond issuances after Ghana's sovereign debt default and the subsequent implementation of the domestic debt exchange program. The lifting of the measure will now allow government to reduce its reliance on short-term treasury bills for budget financing and resume the issuance of long-dated domestic instruments. He indicated that the decision comes amid easing inflationary pressures, renewed investor confidence, and improving macroeconomic stability, supported by a strengthened medium-term debt management strategy. Meanwhile, finance and tax analyst Nelson Kujo-Kwagbaji says the expiration of the restrictions on newborn domestic issuance is a significant boost for Ghana's financial market. According to him, government's return to the domestic market is a positive development as it is expected to attract increased investor participation and stimulate overall market activity.
This is good news to the extent that government intends to come back to the domestic bond market. This is good news for the economy and the market in general. If you recall, for some time now, the government has been recording oversubscription within the money market. This is simply because of the limited investment instruments within the financial market, and so most institutional investors have been tilting their attention towards the treasury bill market solely for the purposes of liquidity management. And now that the restriction has expired and government intends to come back to the market, it is going to deepen the market, it is going to make the market liquid, and it is going to bring a lot of investors back into the domestic bond market. And I think generally this is good news for the economy. It is also going to help government to, issue a long-dated instrument, and so the maturity profile of government debt will also be elongated, and that is good news for the government too.
Nelson Kujo-Kwagbaji is a finance and tax analyst. Now, the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana is pushing for detailed disclosure of technical information on the operating systems of agricultural machinery to be deployed under the Farmer Service Centers initiative. The call comes after President John Dramani Mahama announced plans during the State of the Nation address to commission the first center in their farm plains in the eastern region within 2 weeks. In an interview, CIti Business News CEO of the Chamber, Anthony Morrison, maintains that while the initiative is a step towards modernizing agriculture, its sustainability will depend on structured engagement.
Our expectations are that the agriculture colleges and the agriculture farm institute would have trained or would have been given some support to train some level of agriculture machinery operators, mechanics, and what have you. As it stands now, we do not know the operating system of these machineries for us as industry to be able to position ourselves, for us as people who lead in the development of the nation's agriculture curriculums, to inform the training providers that the next 4,000 agriculture machineries that are coming either have hydraulic system, they are 4x4, or they operate a kind of operating system. This information is unavailable to us.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison. And now on to the interbank market. The dollar is selling for 10 cedis 68 pesos, the pound 14 cedis 37 pesos, and the euro at 12 cedis 62 pesos. And that's it for the breakfast edition of the CIti Business News. For more stories, log on to the newsroom/business. I am Neteli Neti Ajahu. Have a good business day.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
Morning in Ghana doesn't begin with noise. It begins with insight. The biggest questions, the toughest interviews, the conversations that shape policy. This is the show that leaders listen to. This is the show that citizens trust. This is a breakfast show, Ghana's biggest radio morning show. National development starts here. This is a breakfast show on 97.3 City FM.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
I said, Daddy, I carry it. Now, so my ya mean to me. Why I won't say crack, chrono. Oh, come here now, who am I? Me time for your damn in a min crack. Oh, I'm telling me what to do to say somebody. That's a really I see a good mess. Sorry. Oh, I'm in Suro, yo, and see.
Nathalie Netia Jaho there brought you the breakfast edition of the City Business News. And guess who is in for kickoff? Isaac Gabriel Affair is here, ready to serve you what's in sports. That's brought to you by Polytank. Have you gotten your Polytank Sumo Super yet? If not, this is your month to save. Get 10% off the premium multiple layer Sumo Super Tank from now till the end of Ghana month. Nationwide, yes, let's celebrate our heritage together. Built with advanced multi-layer technology and reinforced for superior durability, Sumo Super is designed to last, giving you peace of mind for your home project or business. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit any Polytank outlet today, ask for Sumo Super and save over 1,000 Ghana cedis. Polytank is the original, always the best. We do not request for Momo payments online. Now, everyone wants better smartphones, better sleep, and if you own a ride, you definitely want better fuel for your engine. That's why Shell brings you the new and improved Shell V-Power, Shell Fuel Save Unleaded, and Shell Fuel Save Diesel. The new and improved Shell Fuel Save now lasts up to 15 kilometers longer per tank, while the new and improved V-Power cleans 100% of your engine's critical parts with every fill. It doesn't get any better than this. In fact, it's better by far. If you're ready to experience the next generation of high-quality performance fuels, go straight to your nearest Shell station and fill up with our new and improved Shell fuels today. Shell Fuel Save, simply better by far. Now, for years you've worked hard, saved carefully, and prayed quietly, paying rent every single year, wondering when it will finally be your turn, dreaming of a place you could truly call your own, but owning a home still feels out of reach. At Locust Estates, we understand and know how it feels to work so hard and still feel unsure about tomorrow. We have beautifully designed 3-bedroom townhouses in safe, secure, community-focused estates with a clubhouse, gym, swimming pool, and 24-hour security. So no stress, no guesswork, just smart design in prime locations, built for real families and real futures. 0200 55 7704. Visit locusestate.com. Locus Estate, modern living made possible. Isaac Gabriel Affairs got you on Kickoff.
Hi there, welcome. Good morning to welcome aboard to Kickoff on 97.3. I am Gabi Affair. Coming up, Ghana's Black Queens will be in action this afternoon all the way in the United Arab Emirates More from that plus. It's a busy midweek for clubs in the English Premier League. We'll build up to the games coming up later tonight, and then some local tennis as well. Many thanks to Western Union, Politan Ghana, Zonda JH, and Lesheho. Let's improve life. Alright, I'm Gabriel Fair. Let's begin from the sports ministry, because the ministry has assured the public that the Black Queens are safe and in good condition in the United Arab Emirates, where they are currently competing in the Pink Ladies Cup as part of preparations for the upcoming 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations. The assurance was contained in a statement issued yesterday, which indicated that the ministry has been in constant communication with the leadership of the Ghana Football Association, as well as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. Julio Ashirifamwa has more from the statement.
The Minister for Sport and Recreation has been in constant engagement with the leadership of the Ghana Football Association, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, and Ghana's mission in the UAE to closely monitor developments in the region and ensure that the team's continued safety and welfare. Officials from the Ghana's mission in the UAE have visited the team in camp to provide direct assurances of the government's full support and commitment to their safety. The ministry commends the Embassy for its prompt response, proactive engagement, and close coordination during this period. Government remains fully committed to the protection, welfare, and well-being of all Ghanaian athletes representing the nation abroad. The situation continues to be closely monitored in collaboration with the appropriate authorities, and any necessary measures will be taken in the best interest of the team.
All right, so that's my colleague Julio Ashirifamwa with excerpt of that statement released from the ministry. Meanwhile, the Black Queens will take on Russia later today in the second game at 12 p.m. The Queens are using these games as preparations for the upcoming WAFCON in Morocco, which kicks off in 2 weeks' time, so on March 17, 2026. Reacting to that is longtime women's football advocate Rosalind Amo, who shares their perspective on the mindset and psychological readiness of the players as they head into the WAFCON.
You can never run away from that psychological. Beyond that, once the incident was, passed, and there was the surest, assurance of safety and security, the girls went on, and I think that they went all the way to the final, and they won silver, losing to Nigeria in the final. So I am expecting that a similar situation would happen. Hopefully, let's pray that the WAFCON itself is in doubt. The date for the WAFCON itself is in doubt. We are told that Morocco has asked for a rescheduling of it to August. We don't know whether that will be granted or not, but whatever it is, I'm sure that once, if the Pink Ladies Cup tournament goes on, it will calm their nerves, they'll be able to compete, and then it will get them out of the anxious moment. If it doesn't happen, then they need to move away to a place where they'll go and continue their campaign. I'm sure whatever it is, they will be going through it and they will be fine.
All right, so that's Rosalind Amo speaking to City Sports. Now, away from women football, former Black Stars midfielder, and he was also a former coach for Ghana's under-17 side, that's Lai Kinson, has questioned the timing of the early campaign of Ghana's under-17 team ahead of the 2026 Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations, also set to be played in Morocco. The Starlets, led by head coach Prosper Natel Gum, resumed full residential campaign in the first week of January. Now, speaking to City Sports, Kinson cautioned that a prolonged camp could see the team pick too early before the tournament begins in April.
The moment you bring in result-oriented ideas, then that's when you deviate from it. It's good that they are preparing very well. That's the most important thing. Every country needs. They've moved to camp very early, but then again, we have to look at the day or the time that the first game is being played. We should ask ourselves if they've moved too early to camp, because remember, you are developing, you are building a momentum to a competition. I think they've gone to camp too early, so my fear will be the time that the competition is being started, they've hit their limit, limit already, and then they will be descending during the competition. So that's the part that I'm a bit worried.
All right, so that's like Hinson. He's a former under-17 coach speaking there. Well, in the Ghana Premier League, BBN Gold Stars Deputy Communications and Administrative Manager Joseph Otimenu says the technical team is working to avoid complacency within camp. This comes after the defending champions entered a high-stakes title race period against Mediama Sporting Club on the back of a 4-match winning streak in the Ghana Premier League. Their most recent victory was that 2-1 win over Accra Heart of Oak, which moved them within a single point of leaders Mediama SC.
As a club, BBN Gold Stars, we take every game very seriously because we have had some few moments where we've had wins on the road, 4 wins on the road, and due to complacency, we might slack behind. So BBN Gold Stars is taking game after game. We are not thinking about the next 2 games. We are thinking about Young Apostles weekend on Sunday to manage the game very well. Probably we go into a game a very good mindset to have a very good point or points over there. So our next 2 games on paper, it might sound clear to someone, but we as a club, as a management for BBN Gold Stars, we believe we should pick it game after game. We have 2 matches to go, 10 matches to go, and we need to approach it very well in such a way we will handle the matches very well.
All right, so that's Joseph Otimenu speaking there to CIti Sports. He's BBN Gold Stars Deputy Communications Director. Well, to some local tennis and an organizer of the 2026 Accra Professional Ladies Open, Naashika Edu, says this year's edition of the tournament will serve as a key preparatory competition ahead of the Billie Jean Cup. She made this disclosure on the sidelines of the official launch at the 2026 APL Open held yesterday. The event brought together players, coaches, and organizers of the competition as the excitement builds up towards the tournament, which is scheduled to run from March 3 to March 8.
The APL Open is opening up to professional tennis players in Ghana, and for the first time this is going to be a ranking tournament, but also it's going to be a tournament that helps us in preparation for the Billie Jean Cup this year. For all those who don't know, Billie Jean Cup is the Davis Cup version, the female version of Davis Cup, and this year we have over 43 young ladies who made it to the draw. Unfortunately, we had a couple of women who could not participate because of their school schedules, but so far it's looking good, and we are looking forward to a very good experience. Also, what makes this year's event even more spectacular is that all our sponsors are female-led businesses or female-owned businesses.
Naashika Edu speaking to CIti Sports that she's one of the organizers of the 2026 Accra Professional Ladies Open. Well, let's get to Europe, and the English Premier League enters March week 29 today with 4 fixtures lined up across various venues. Bournemouth hosts Brentford at the Vitality Stadium. Everton will take on Burnley. Leeds United up against Sunderland before attention shifts to the Molineux, where Bottom plays Wolves welcome Liverpool in the late kickoff at 8:15 p.m. Liverpool, who are locked in a fierce battle to secure Champions League football, will be keen to avoid any slip-up against the struggling hosts. Yes, Liverpool head coach Arne Slot.
It's not unusual that we play 3 games in 7 days for us. That's probably the 4th or 5th time this season that we have to do this. Does it bring a challenge maybe for the second game a little bit more, because then you know even better what to expect? But that I also like, mainly that I like on Champions League, because the first time you play each other, mainly in Champions League you don't play each other that much, so it's a bit new. But the second time you can prepare your team even better, especially if the team does the same, the team you face does the same again. But now being in the Premier League, we played them already once.
Alright, so that's Liverpool boss Arne Slot speaking. The victory tonight's for Slot's men will further strengthen their position in the top 4 race with 11 matches remaining. Well, Brighton striker Danny Welbeck has triggered a 12-month option in his contract to extend his deal to the end of next season. The 35-year-old forward's current contract was due to expire at the end of this season, but it's understood the option for an extra year now is in place. Well, former West Ham striker Mikel Antonio says he had to swallow his ego after his near-fatal car crash as he prepares to make his first club appearance in 15 months. The 35-year-old striker has joined Qatari side Al Saliyah, and he is confident he can start on a good note.
At the beginning, clubs were calling saying, yeah, I want him to come in and train. And with my ego that I had, I was like, I'm not coming to train. Like, you've seen that I've played with Jamaica. What I've done in the last 10 years, I shouldn't have to go in and train with somebody. I should be able to just sign a contract and come in. So my ego was getting in the way of me signing contracts because I was like, I'm not doing that. And then clubs are like, well, if you ain't doing that, then we're not signing you. And I was like, cool, don't sign me, someone will sign me. But then after that, and me staying at West Ham, training with the 21s, because I wasn't allowed to train with the first team, it got to the stage, I went away with Jamaica again. My agent's gone to me, he's like, you're going to have to train. You're going to have to prove your fitness. So I had to swallow my ego.
All right, so that's former West Ham United striker Mikel Antonio, now plays for Qatari side Al Salia, speaking there. Well, in Spain, Madrid missed the chance to move within 1 point of leaders Barcelona after Martin Sotrano's spectacular strike gave Getafe a shock win at the Bernabeu. It means Real remain 4 points behind Barca, having both now played 26 games. Well, in the Copa del Rey later tonight, Barcelona will take on Atletico Madrid at 8 p.m. That's the second leg. And then in the Coppa Italia in Italy, Como up against Inter Milan at 8 p.m. Well, that's the very latest in the world of sports. For more, you can head to citisportsonline.com and on X at citisportsgha. Kickoff was proudly brought to you by Western Union, Politan Ghana, Shell V Power, and Leshell. Let's improve life. I'm Gabi Ofer. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do take care of yourself, and bye-bye.
From now to the end of Ghana month, Polytank is celebrating with you. We are giving you over 1,000 Ghana cedis for free on our premium Sumo Super range of water tanks in celebration of Ghana. Sumo Super is designed to last, giving you peace of mind for your home, project, or business. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit any Polytank outlet today. Ask for Sumo Super and save over 1,000 Ghana cedis. Polytank, the original, always the best. Panono Ankasa. Beware, Polytank does not request for Momo online.
Are you ready to revolutionize the future of agriculture? The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, in partnership with the Ghana Exim Bank, proudly presents the Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026. The fair will feature exhibitions, market linkages, masterclasses, and workshops on climate-smart farming, digital tools, and export development. Join us at the Black Star Square from March 17 to March 19 at 9 a.m. each day. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be assisted by the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, the Honorable Elizabeth Ofosuejari, and the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, to open the fair. Government agencies, agrotech firms, startups, farmers, financial institutions, and the general public are all welcome. To exhibit or for inquiries, call 0559 679326 or 0242 585419. Media partners: Daily Graphic, Media General, Radio Gold, Citi FM, and Channel 1 TV. Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026, transforming agribusiness through local innovation and technology.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
The Money Matters segment is brought to you by Petra. Petra, achieve more.
Welcome to the Money Matters segment with Petra. You can be earning well and still feel uneasy. That quiet fear of what if something happens. That's financial anxiety. One emergency can shake everything if there's no structure behind your income. Peace comes from preparation, not from pretending everything is fine. Now this year, don't carry money stress alone. Petra's financial advisors can help you build stability that protects you and your family. So walk into any Petra office today or dial *447 *70 hash. Let's do life together. Petra, achieve more.
The Money Matters segment was brought to you by Petra.
Relevant Radio.
Petra.
This is CIti 97.3.
Since inception, almost 100% of Ashesi University students have found jobs, started businesses, or gone on to graduate school within 6 months of graduation. From Accra to Nairobi, London to New York, Ashesi graduates are noticed and are leading successful careers. If you dream of a rewarding life and career, an Ashesi education prepares you just for that. Learn more about applying to Ashesi at ashesi.edu.gh. Remember, admission is ongoing.
It's so hard to find someone who's always there, who do the best they can to push you to the top. But I found myself a friend who's all of these and more. When I put my dreams to sleep, you wake me up to dream. I trust in blue. I trust in blue. I trust in blue. I trust in blue. Save your money with blue. Secure your future true. Blue Ghana day for you. I put my trust in blue. I trust in blue.
Blue Financial Services Ghana Limited. Trust in blue.
We want jobs, right? We want opportunity. It starts with what we eat.
When we eat Ghana rice and buy local chicken, we create jobs for our own people, not for importers.
Eating Ghanaian food isn't just a meal, it's a statement of independence, pride, and progress. Eat Ghana, build Ghana, our food, our future.
The Eat Ghana, Build Ghana campaign is supported by Agri Impact Limited in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation and the 24-Hour Economy.
Whether you're buying water from your favorite spot in Osu, shopping online for the latest styles, or booking your next getaway to Dubai, MasterCard gives you the freedom to pay your way. Insert, tap, swipe, click. So many options, yet so easy. With layers of security protecting every payment, your money stays safe. From Trotro to travel, MasterCard connects you to the life you've earned and the one you dream of. Ask your bank for a MasterCard today. MasterCard. Safe, convenient, priceless.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is CIti 97.3.
Ausania Mobre, Chinago Mago. Both body Henya Bafe, Makuta Mabashia, Manigan of Nabaina Batoy, Chinago Mago. Giddy back at Digital Gunimia Rajana Gumago. Both body Henya Bafe, Makuta Mabashia, Manigan of Nabaye, Chinago Mago. Both body Bafe, Makuta Mabaye, Chinago Mago. Chiara bote no bae, Shinako Maku. Abele, Abele, Abele.
This is the City Breakfast Show.
gidi bacha twishi doku ni mi arajwa na gumago. Bottom boni henyelo abase magunza mabashi ago manye ke no fe na bayi. Shina gumago, shi arajwa bote no bae. Shina gumago, arajwa tete no go bae. Shina Abele, 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 Abele.
7:36. 97.3 City FM. This is the Great E.T. Mensa. Ghana will be 69 years old on Friday. It's interesting. Later in the morning, we'll be talking about our music. I'm not even sure which age a country gets to that imposes certain sort of responsibilities on it. I was listening to the
our age as a country finds shame.
Hold on. It's not even about country. I was listening to the Iranian guy. Some Iranian guy was being interviewed on Al Jazeera, and he said the US should not think that killing their leader or their leaders will make them bow, because this is a 6,000-year-old civilization.
Yeah.
Okay. So it set me thinking around the difference between a country and a civilization. Okay, so like a country. So I'm happy with 69. Okay, but I feel like sometimes we need to think a bit more deeply about who we are beyond 69 years of independence. You understand? Because your people group, my people group, were existing before the Portuguese or the British came. And if we limit it, and I'm not saying we shouldn't celebrate 69, don't misunderstand me. See, there are countries that were colonized. All right, for example, China was colonized by the Japanese at some point. But the Chinese don't construe their existence as a nation on the basis of post-colonization China. You see, so they say,
I think the word is occupied more than colonized.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. It's fine. We even choose to use the word colony because of the way it was done. What I'm trying to say is that they refer to the old dynasties. Okay, and they have over 3,500 years of recorded history about who they are and what they do. The Persians, yesterday the guy said they are 6,000 years old, and that America cannot basically who is America? Do you understand? And they've ingrained that in their citizens, so they don't believe that the people will rise up and do anything, and America cannot do anything. Okay, so I'm asking myself, beyond 69 as Ghanaians, there are two issues we need to think about. Before the people came to do the colonization and all the things they did, how did we see ourselves? Have we also recorded our history, our achievements, our philosophies, our ideologies? Because you said to me some time ago that every Chinese, there are 4 basic books you must read.
You must know the 3 kingdoms.
Yes, there are some 4 basic material you must read of what makes you a Chinese. Okay, and so they know who they are, whether they are Buddhists, whether they are Christians, whether they are agnostics.
4 basic books what makes you Chinese.
Yes, there are some 4.
Basically, once you cover it,
4 basic material you must read, which makes you know who we are as Chinese. So even if you are living in Singapore, right, you know you are Chinese, because in Singapore there are Malaysians, there are Indians, but they know that they are ethnic Chinese. So then there's a material you are supposed to read. Okay. Now my issue, and I feel like the challenge we have as a nation, is we need to start. It's a difficult situation because we want to de-emphasize ethnicity, because we believe that when you emphasize it too much, because it's been weaponized and used in conflict, and politicians also use it, if you overemphasize it, it doesn't lead to
the unity you are looking for.
Okay, and I understand this. But somebody sent me a material last week. I haven't read it yet, but the person was saying that African countries need to read about how Switzerland was formed, because apparently there were many groups, but some people use law and other things to create an identity, and that identity has survived over, I think, 250, some number of years, and it's working. It's just, I think, 300 years. They know they are Swiss, although initially some may be Italian, some may be German, Frank German, some may be, I think it's France. So the person was saying that Africans need to start thinking about such things, how to create an Ghanaian identity in a way that doesn't necessarily deny that you are Ashanti or Ewe. It's a very delicate situation because Persia, Indians, Chinese, Germans, Dutch people, they also have the various things we also have. But we, for some reason, we are binary here. So some people are like, we are Ashanti people. Okay. And some people say, we should just forget about Ashanti, just be Ghanaian. Okay. I think at 69 to 70, we have to start thinking about how to comfortably live with the two in a way that does not divide us. Because I can see how if you overemphasize ethnicity, it becomes problematic. It becomes, people can weaponize it in politics. People use ethnicity to even define the vote.
It's already happening.
They use it. So I can see why people want to de-emphasize that and say things like Nkrumah wanted to create a nation. So he said, let's do boarding schools, let's do intermarriages. I can see why Nkrumah wanted to do that. Okay. But I think we need to have that national discussion in a way that is genuine. Okay, so we are 69. 69 as what? Because when you say you are a Ghanaian, what does it really mean? Because don't forget, I interviewed a guy, a lot of people thought he was crazy, but I thought he made a lot of sense. He said one of the things you do as a nation is to have a unified language. And then he said he had spoken to a number of linguists, about 50-something, who he believed that they wanted to create a language. All right, so they'll pick Twi, pick Ewe, pick Ga, pick Gonja, Frafra, and create a language that we can all speak. And then he pointed to the Swahili language, which, if you go to East Africa, they are Luos, they are Kikuyus, they are Kalenjins, they are Kambes. He knows Kenya very well. But when you are in Nairobi, you can speak Kikuyu. You can speak Swahili. And Swahili doesn't belong to any one group. Of course, Swahili is a trade language, which was evolved because of the trade between the Arabs in the north and the people from South Africa, what's their name? The Zulu. So it's like a mixed language, which evolved. So now they speak it in Rwanda, they speak it in Tanzania, they speak it in Kenya. Even some people in Zambia speak it. Okay, so it's a unified language. You can see the same with Hausa. If you go to northern Nigeria, they have a certain type of Hausa. But if you go to many Zongos in Ghana, they speak Hausa, even though it's not as distinct as the northern Nigerian. It's a language that is a trade language. Okay. Anytime this issue is brought up in Ghana, people are very territorial. Okay. So, for example, the Akwaba versus Obake issue. Okay. The whole, some languages are dying. So people, when you are in Accra, speak Ga type of thing. While I understand and respect people groups for wanting to preserve their identity, I also